You know, many people, when they mention the greatest players of all time, they never mention Hakeem Olajuwon. Hmm. It's very interesting. A lot of people believed that Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls would have, their run would have been, over had Jordan not retired in 93 by the Houston Rockets. And that ultimately would have broken the team up. And that Hakeem Olajuwon would have been the one to end the reign of Michael Jordan. Now, the team that Michael wanted to play, and for whatever reason, I don't know why it wasn't in the last dance, when they came back, the team he wanted to play was the Houston Rockets. He obviously can't control who they play, but they also felt like, oh, Seattle, yeah, they beat us like in the regular season, whatever, but we'll beat Seattle. They didn't fear them at all, not even the least bit. So when they started to break things down as far as to say who was good, who wasn't good, and what could actually happen, it went to a level of, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make improvements. We're going to get this, because they thought they were going to be playing the Rockets. And a lot of people's estimation of what was going to happen, Houston versus the Bulls, who was going to be the better team, it wasn't really close at that time. In 96, the run was really about over at that time. It truly was. And they weren't in a position to vie for a championship. In 96, the run was basically over. Everything had went out of the system for the team, and they just weren't the same. Now, Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan, they were like the top rookies in the NBA. Hakeem was the number one pick, Michael was number three. But what many of you don't know, they were almost teammates that year as rookies. To show you how inept the Portland Trailblazers were at the draft, and the general manager who didn't take Michael Jordan with the pick. Well, let's just say it goes even deeper than that. It goes further than them not taking Michael Jordan with the second pick for the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers, right before the draft, they didn't believe in Sam Bowie either. They really didn't want to take him, and they didn't think Sam Bowie was worth a second round draft pick in the first round. If they could get him later down the road, which they probably would have, because nobody else really was going to draft Sam Bowie. They wanted to draft him later in the draft, which they wanted to do. But then they were like, they're not too convinced about Sam Bowie anyway. They were a little concerned about his durability, even then. So to get out of it, they wanted a big man, because back in those days, a big man, those were the guys that led the championships. You had to have a big man. So Ralph Sampson is the player that they wanted. They were going to trade the number 2 draft pick for Ralph Sampson. And the Rockets weren't interested. So out of desperation and a last-ditch effort, they offered a deal and said, we'll give you Clyde Drexler, their second-year player. He just finished his rookie year. They were willing to trade Clyde the Glide Drexler so they can get their Phi Slamma Jamma together and the number 2 pick for Ralph Sampson. You're hearing this correct. So the Houston Rockets would have had their Phi Slamma Jamma brother together in Houston. And they got the 2nd pick in the draft. And they're already taking Hakeem at number 1. So the Houston Rockets would have had the number 1 and the number 2 draft picks in the NBA draft. And then you draft Michael Jordan at number 2. So you got Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, and Hakeem Olajuwon all on the same team, coming in as rookies. It's 2 of them. Drexler's only there 1 year. Michael Jordan could play the point. They would have won about 15 championships. But all of this almost happened. Houston, at the last minute, decided not to take this deal. So I think the dumbest person in the room were the Houston Rockets. They didn't want to part with Ralph Sampson. It was crazy. I mean, they made noise and went to the NBA Finals, but I'd have did that trade in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. But back then, the big men controlled the game. But that all changed. Now, let's look at the gist of everything. Michael Jordan has never been challenged in the NBA Finals, really. He played against Carl, but that wasn't really a challenge for them. Like, it was a good competitive game, but they never felt like we're in danger of losing the NBA Finals playing in Utah against the Jazz. Against Seattle, they never felt any pressure of losing that series. One bit. The Phoenix Suns, they felt they could beat Phoenix whenever they played them. They were too nervous, didn't know what they were doing. The Portland Trail Blazers, they felt that in the end, Portland would choke and give up the game. And they did. Never felt the pressure. the Lakers, they were just old. So they were done. They never felt any pressure from losing to any of those teams. Michael was always looking for the challenge. And they wanted to be the ones, and he wanted to be the ones to vanquish Houston because he said, if we don't beat them, they'll hang this it over our heads forever, saying, oh, you guys couldn't beat the such and such Houston Rockets. And Olajuwon might be better than Michael Jordan. And he's like, I heard that it when I was retired. Yeah, so Mike was not. Mike was like, I heard that when I was, who was better, me or Olajuwon? And he's like, you kidding me? Like, I love Hakeem, but are you kidding me? So Michael wanted that challenge. He really wanted to play Olajuwon. And he wanted it on that big stage. So don't forget, man, you guys could donate to the page. My Cash App is Carceno, Karceno. And you can hit up the Patreon. The Mike Tyson Desiree Washington video is up. Learn what happened at the trial. Who's this? I don't know you, homie. So I don't know him. I don't answer numbers I don't know. So y'all tell me, would the Rockets have beaten Michael Jordan and the Bulls? I think if they stayed together that first year and Michael didn't retire, I think the Bulls would have lost in the NBA Finals to the Houston Rockets in '94. I think the surprise of Sam Cassell, Robert Horry, all of those players would have surprised the Bulls. And they would have lost that series. It would have been a 7-game series, I think. I think it would have been 7. And Houston would have probably had the best record in '94. Do I think the Knicks? No, Knicks wouldn't have beat '94. The Knicks, everybody thought they were ready. To '94, they would have lost. '93 was their year to win it. The Knicks. '93 was their year to take it. '94, they were good, but no, they weren't that good. They weren't good enough to take it. Not beat the Bulls. '93 was their year to beat the Bulls. '94, it wasn't gonna happen. With Michael, they would have lost in about 5 or 6. They struggled without Mike against the Bulls. They just have a hard time knowing what to do in pressure situations. So that ended up being the story of the New York Knicks and their legacy. Not knowing what to do when it's time to do it. So anyway, you can click any of the 4 videos you see. And like I said before, the video is up on the Patreon VIP, of course. And I'm out.